I'd like to welcome everyone to Commissioners meeting. Join me in the pledge of allegiance to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Okay. Approve the minutes, accounts payable vouchers, and the payroll docket. Entertain a motion to accept as submitted.
I'll make a motion, we accept the payroll, vouchers, docket, and the minutes.
I second that.
All those in favor signify by aye. Motion carries. Okay, Miss Patty, you have the floor, dear.
I have a couple things for you guys this evening. So the first one is our grant admin contract for the Jefferson County owner occupied rehab program. The total amount is $25,000. One thing that I didn't say at the meeting the last time was these funds you guys are not paying out of your budget. It's coming out of the grant, so. But-
Wow, we don't that much.
Right, sorry, and I apologize, I didn't even think about
That's
it
fine.
at the meeting, so this is not money out of your guys' pocket. It's
Work it out.
been budgeted in the grant, so, you don't have to worry about it.
Oh, hey, let's, I make a motion.
Okay. I get it. So if you guys are okay with that. to
This is
sign
in
that grant.
pursuant to the $250,000.
Yes, it's a $250,000 grant for owner occupied rehab. And we're gonna assist 18 families in Jefferson County. So, okay.
Okay,
I move we accept the contract with Southeast Indiana Regional Planning Commission for their services to work through the owner occupied rehabilitation grant for $250,000, and their fee is $25,000, which will be paid out of the grant. So I move we accept that.
I second that.
any other discussion before the board? All those in, excuse me, favor signify by aye. So carried.
Yes.
I'm gonna have you sign my copy here if you don't mind. I need you to sign and then Heather to attest.
Okay. You are a very busy lady.
Trying to keep everything straight. And then the last thing I have is the contract for professional services for DSA home inspections. We had opened the proposals at the last meeting and we're not quite ready to start the inspection, so I thought I'd bring the contract for you guys to sign this evening. He's already signed it. So his fee will be $200 for the initial inspection, which will include photos. And then for a final construction and inspection, including photos, will be $50. Any recurring visits would be $25 for each additional visit. I don't see that happening a whole lot. We actually have budgeted a larger budget. I think it's 8,000. That is what I put in the budget. And right now we're only at 4,500, so that's good. So if we can add some people, we may have additional inspections. And if we have, maybe some issues that we need to do some additional inspections, we've got some funds there to play with. So if you guys are okay with signing that contract, this is also paid out of the grant too. So
Thank you.
I need to clarify those things better.
We'll make it farm motion. just for
Oh, yes,
Yep.
yeah.
Transparency.
Yeah, I make a motion, we accept the contract from the consultant
DSA.
DSA for
4,500.
4,500. I'm looking.
Sorry.
That's all right.
I second that.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion for the board? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Okay, we may want to change that.
Oh, what did I'm sorry.
Hey, get something you need.
Here,
Was I thinking? Obviously I wasn't. I'll get that fixed. Yeah. 109, you've made a motion to I'll get it fixed and then I'll get it to you to
Okay.
sign,
We'll
so.
make it right.
That way we make that
I just
right.
haven't seen it.
Yeah. You know, I kept looking at that thinking that didn't look right. Sorry about that.
I've been called worse.
And we have started taking applications for the rehab program. I think I've got 5 or 6 approved right now, so we're slowly moving forward with getting all the claim intake done. But so I'll keep you guys posted. But when we get ready to let out for bid, we'll be opening up bids here at your meeting. So you guys have any other questions for me?
No,
Sure,
I don't.
I do. So economic development planning, do you think CERC play a part in that, or helping us maybe find out who would be the guys out there, the consultants out there that do something like that? or-
So we work with the Economic Development Administrator. Is it a project or?
Well, I mean, you know, we'd like to do some things in the southwest part of the county. I mean, you know, they're talking about widening 62 all the way up. River Ridge is exploding, you know, what do we need to do to kind of plan for development? I mean, it may come out that we just don't have anybody interested in land wise to do something like that, but we, you know, what kind of infrastructure would we need? What kind
We
of,
have a representative with and they're out of the Chicago regional office, and what we probably need to do is schedule a meeting with
Just
him and to
kind
sit
of
down with you guys.
talk
just
about
to
our
kind of
options?
See what's
Sure.
available. I'm assuming that they probably have some planning dollars.
Well, I know Okra has some economic development planning grant
Right.
dollars. I don't know if we would qualify for that. We have some funds probably in the ARP fund for economic development.
And I know that the economic development, we've applied for them for infrastructure dollars before. If you're creating jobs or retaining jobs, that's what they're all about. So,
Right now, we're very early. I don't know.
Right.
We'd like to be, hopefully in
Right.
the end, we're doing that, but it may be.
I'll get with Mary
Okay.
and, we'll get with you guys and, schedule a meeting with the guy and just see what.
I mean, it can be just
Yeah.
Zoom calls just to
Sure,
talk.
yeah.
And then it'd be easy, so.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gonna make mine short and sweet. Have 2 contract proposals, changes. First one is Hillwell. It's for our food management in the jail. We currently have, another vendor that, we've just kind of been running into some issues, catch the staff, they'll be down there without their required hair nets or, beard nets on, or we've ran out of some supplies as simple as sugar and bread recently. So we had a meeting with that company not too long ago and talked to them about the issues, if you will, and didn't really get much resolve out of them. This company actually will end up being, in the long run, when we transition to the new facility, they have a pay scale or a payment scale. And actually, the more inmates we have, the cheaper it gets per meal. Believe it or not. So
Can't afford not to have too many.
they will actually
Sorry.
be, in the long run, it'll actually be more cost effective, currently with the Kelwell company. So I just wanted to, I guess, propose that to you guys and have you guys, see if you would approve that contract. It did, also did send it to, Pat had it all last week, McGrath, so he sent it back to me.
Well, the PO box Z. Does that mean there's only 26 people in Bakersville or?
I don't know how that works.
I'm just kidding, but it's just something. How does there, I mean, how does the price compare to now?
It's actually currently, we would be under budget with this company.
So less than what-
Another plausible thing about this is they're actually out of Kentucky. So, we have an issue, we call them up and they'll bring, he said if we have to put it in our private car and drive it up here, we'll make sure that you guys get it, so they're. And then they also do a commissary business as well, and I really like their commissary. The way they package it, it's all packaged here and can, like, right across the river. And, you know, if there's an issue with commissary or something doesn't show up that was ordered by the inmate, they'll also make it right and drive it up here. So,
So the address is the client's got the Walnut Street address. And then it says starting time is July 1st, 2023.
he wrote that as, because we didn't know how long it was gonna take to get it proposed. So he wrote it for planning transition into the new facility. But,
Okay, just that we don't get, well, I'm dropping them off at
Right.
Walnut Street, but you guys aren't there.
yeah, no, they're aware that we're
Okay,
moving.
okay.
We just didn't have that new address on there. They also do hire local too. For their kitchen staff clerk. They'll run an ad. And try to get some local people to fill those spots. They'll fill it temporarily with one of their staff until they can get.
Awesome. And your other agreement was it kind of the same, similar terms?
Yeah.
Years.
Yeah, 30-day, yeah.
You said Pat was okay with it? Okay. What do you think, John?
Yep, I think it's good.
Yep. I move we accept the food service agreement with Kelwell Food Management out of Beattyville, Kentucky. Scale prices in the document as presented.
Okay, I have a motion. Second.
I second.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by aye. Motion carries.
And then last but not least is the healthcare contract. And I can sum that up real quick. If you want to go to this copy, or you didn't have the highlight, did you?
No.
This one. Record, the first page. Yep, first page. Thought that's how I had it set up. So the very top bracket, the 2023 renewal was the 277,793. And then if you go over 3 boxes to the 836,599, that would be the proposed amount for the new facility at the lowest hours required by law as far as medical coverage for our facility. This is our current healthcare provider. The new contract that they had sent up, the proposal was the quality healthcare. It was 24-hour healthcare, and where the new company kind of cuts back on some of that cost, a lot of cost, is of the evening time when they do medication pass, and they don't. The one company has nursing staff 24/7, and the new company will actually have be hired paramedics. So they can cut that cost because they're not having to pay the RN rate. But they do bring a valid point. A lot of your paramedics have seen more trauma and have done more hands-on in the field care, like you may receive in the evening, nighttime, when you're bringing in more intoxicated individuals or more, bar fights or something like that. They're more suitable, trained for that level of care. So they bring those in. So that would also, they also hire locally. So that would also give potential employment opportunities to local paramedics and local nurses to be able to work for this healthcare company. Our current healthcare company had some issues. We've had 2 nurses just walk out in the middle of their shift. Day 2 walked in and I was out of like diabetic lancets and some other medical supplies, necessities. And I had to call 3 different people in order to get the situation kind of addressed. The one chief liaison for the company, she refuses to talk to my chief deputy. So if I'm out of the office and she has a question, she refuses to talk to my chief about anything. So even after I told her that in my absence, that's who we go to, and just had a lot of issues with that company. So the quality healthcare, they'll also allow us, if you look in there, on this page. They will assist in the starting of our JCAP, in a JCAP or JCAP like program, so a rehab program in the facility. They'll provide a trained licensed clinician to help us get that up and running, and if not, continue to run it if we want her to. So that's another big ticket item, as well as the 24-hour healthcare and the mental health. 24 hours, 7 days a week mental health coverage. We don't currently have that. We only have 4 hours a week mental health coverage with the current provider. So.
Well, that. But I put this back, get us out of the other, requiring the other service.
Yeah, so with the new contract, we would be able to do away with the mental health, the 2 additional mental health contracts that we have, because it would all be incorporated under their contract. They also have their own pharmacy. So we would just go direct through their pharmacy, and they would help us apply for a DEA license. So then, since we're building the new facility, we have a pharmacy built, a room built specifically for that now. So we'll be able to keep our own meds on site. So then that way it'll cut back on the cost of shipping meds back and forth. So, and that's all included, all the startup fees and all that stuff for them to get that up and rolling.
You know, what we pay the current provider?
The current provider for the jail that we're at right now is 277,000.
793.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then in the lowest care, which is the 152 hours a week of nursing care in the new facility, would be 836,000. All the way up to their highest tiered option of over $1 million. Where this company right here, it's the 132,800 plus the additional, apologize, yours aren't highlighted. But those would be the additional cost, but we're still under, way under that.
So this, when you go to the new facility, will this change much?
Yep.
That's what it is.
That's what it is. Those numbers that you see on there is what it will be from this top corner. The ADP daily population is good from 280 to 320. Hopefully in my lifetime, I don't see 320 up there.
Sounds to me like you've done your homework. I'll make a motion that we go with the quality correctional care plan here.
Okay,
A second thing.
have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Thank you.
That's all I have, other than 178 total. And 138 in our facility, the rest of them are housed elsewhere. Yeah. Anything else for you guys? Nope.
Sounds good.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Ben. Thank you, sir.
okay.
Okay.
Okay. Testing over here.
Mr. Hill. you
Yes,
have-
sir.
You have the floor, sir.
All right, thank you very much. Gentlemen, my name is Mike Hicks, and I currently am serving as the community coordinator for court services. And been invited to come and give you a little update on some of our program initiatives that we've got going on right now. And so if you will bear with me, I'd like to give you a little presentation to help guide us through this. Okay, this evening, I'd like to just share with you a little bit of the information about the programs of what we're working with. We have about 2 or 3 different initiatives that we're working with. Is it okay if I just stay close to the
Absolutely
device?
fine. It'll track you.
Okay. This is my contact information, work in the courthouse annex. That's where my office is located, so I'm available there and provide that contact information for everybody. At this particular time, we're working with 3 different initiatives. One is the residential treatment facility. Associated with the residential treatment facility is a community needs assessment, which we're currently underway of administering and conducting. And I'll give you a little bit more information about that as we go along. Also, the jail chemical addictions program, heard Sheriff Flint talk about that. So that came under a little bit of our purview. And so we keep up research and information on that particular program. And then a third one that we're working with now is a crisis intervention team, or CIT program. And once again, I'll give you a little bit more detailed information about that in a second. Back in 2022, a grant was awarded to Jefferson County through the community coordination grant program. And through that grant, I was able to be contracted as the community coordinator. And that was to facilitate research to determine the need of a local residential substance abuse mental health facility, as well as research in the jail chemical addictions program. And that's currently what we're working through. Also associated with this whole process has been the residential treatment facility subcommittee. It's a group of very passionate individuals that are guiding the process of establishing and hopefully of a substance abuse residential treatment facility. Members include mental health services, our judicial law enforcement, community leaders, elected officials, and some very interested local officials. And we're more than happy. And in the past, they met very regularly, and we will be turning up the meeting schedule up here real soon in March. But we're dealing with the community needs assessment program right now. Okay, back in October, The committee made the recommendation that the University of Cincinnati Evaluation Services conduct a community needs assessment. And that we're currently underway with that particular aspect. And that was their fee for the assessment. These are some of the parameters of which the University of Cincinnati and their services will be conducting the needs assessment. And right up at the top is attend regular meetings. We've had some meetings with their representatives and their staff, and they've been very productive in helping us formulate the scope and process of the community needs assessment. And then later on, they'll be doing various subject matter studies, secondary informational and research studies. And then they will be conducting interviews locally with key stakeholders in the community. Also associated with it, to supplement their work in terms of an assessment, I have developed also another short survey if we need to supplement it, and that would be submitted out to a random sample of registered voters to get a more of a local community flavor of their thoughts and opinions. This is sort of the timeline that we're looking at right now in terms of the needs assessment, where we're hoping that it will be started and concluded. As a matter of fact, today, March the 2nd, Jason and I, we had a Zoom conference meeting with individuals at University of Cincinnati, and it was very productive in developing the scope, types of questions that they want to hone in on for the community, and it was very valuable. They will be continuing their research of secondary data sources through the month of March. They intend looking at to conduct group interviews in April, analyzing the data that they receive in May, and then presenting a final report back to the subcommittee and also to JRAC for the considerations of that. And from that report, that'll certainly guide much of our next steps. Some of the secondary sources that we're using also for this process, King Stores Hospital, they conduct their community health needs assessment report every 2 to 3 years. And we're using their last one of 2019, as well as some of the current information. Also, some of you are familiar with the Indiana Commission to Combat Drug Abuse, and you may have even served on that particular community plan. And also the Healthy Communities Initiative through King's Daughters has provided considerable secondary data of emergency and department drug overdose issues and things of that nature from 2017 to 21. So all of this data and information will be used by the University of Cincinnati to help formulate their report. After we receive the report and if everything is looking towards favorability, then we can enter what I would consider phase 2 of design and construction of a residential facility. Hopefully that comes to fruition, but we're wanting to make sure that we have solid data and information that supports that particular process. A couple of other initiatives that we're working with also is the jail chemical addiction program that Sheriff Clint described to you. Probably one of the better communities that have this up and running, and they've had it for several years, is Dearborn County. Had the opportunity to visit their site and get some much needed information on how they operate their program over there. And it was very informative, and also had an opportunity to have some testimonials from some of the inmates about how the program does work for them And it's a very valuable, it seemed very successful over in Dearborn. And as we move forward, hopefully we can institute something like that in the new jail. JCAP, once again, just to give you a little background into it. It's designed to combat the revolving door of those in acute active addiction. JCAP generally is a minimum of 90 days, but the average stay is 120 days. Program is based on cognitive behavioral therapy and substance abuse counseling. The JCAP utilizes strategies for improvement and change. It's a model as the core program to be delivered in an intensive inpatient format. Once again, the research shows that the inpatient has a much stronger evidence of reliability. That's a photograph of the new JCAP facility in Dearborn County. It's located with the jail and their court system there. Found a little bit of an information about how it produces numbers. And you can see that there. I think one of the top information there for you is the cost. The cost per day of serving offenders in the Department of Correction was $55. Cost per day of serving a JCAP offender was $13.84. The interesting thing, recidivism percentage, JCAP have a 17.4% of return, whereas 42.8% of the non-JCAP offenders have that tendency to return to incarceration. So it is statistically a proven strategy for helping those individuals. Crisis intervention team. This is a third and a new topic and evidence of a strategy for our local law enforcement. CIT Indiana, associated with the National Alliance of Mental Illness, they operate a program for providing technical assistance to local law enforcement, and particularly dealing with individuals in high crisis situations with law enforcement. And the goals there of crisis intervention teams is to improve safety during law enforcement encounters and to increase connections to effective and timely mental health services for people in mental health crisis. Today in our society, if you're keeping up with the news, it is becoming an alarming societal issue. And we really need to focus in on providing services and strategies in dealing with those individuals. These are some core elements of CIT, partnership among law enforcement and mental health systems. This is the key issue, that when a law enforcement is working with or involved in situations with a mental health issue, that they know who is their advocate and partner in terms of a mental health system, where they could take this individual to for observation, assessment. And within each community, developing policies and procedures for officers and dispatchers, and the training for officers and dispatchers in these regards. Once again, developing a mental health receiving facility. The evaluation and research, once again, training and recognition of programs. Okay, to start this process, our sheriff department, Madison Police, and also our emergency management had a planning session. It was last Friday, and we had an individual from Indianapolis with the program, and they gave some information about how we here in Jefferson County could initiate and begin developing a team. But they will work through the JRAC organization and their monthly meetings. Jason has agreed to help facilitate those discussions. Okay, I'd like to leave you, gee whiz, with one last thought here and in our lives today, but still the greatest discovery of my generation is that a human being can change his life by changing his attitude. It's by William James. And I think we all can grow in our style, in our life by changing our attitudes everything that we do. All right. Any questions? All right, sir. Hey, thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure to
Come.
hey, provide you with some information.
Thank you for the update. Thank you. Okay. Next, we have Plan Commission appointees. Yeah, this is for the cities. It's our two appointees. And I believe this one has to serve on two boards, right?
Yeah, we're gonna be BZA and Plan Commission.
That's Rick Ferris. And then the other one, it has to be a Democrat and a Republican, is Zach Laughlin. And he's the other appointee for the Planning Commission, so.
We appoint Rick Ferris as to the Plan Commission, who's also serving on the BZA for a 4-year term through December 2026, and Zach Laughlin to the Plan Commission through the same term through December 2026.
I second that.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by aye. Aye. So moved. For those appointees. Okay.
Now you go.
That way, I'll be that way.
Hey. Just note, Bobby Phillips left the building.
The owl still has him on camera.
ADA, American Disabilities Act. We got a letter last month from, in fact, February 15th from the, I just wrote Rob. Yeah. We're deficient in a few areas and mainly reporting. Fortunately, I think our ADA stuff is up to snuff as far as what we're doing. There's some things we can improve on, but we're reporting is the main issue. And what I'm going to do tonight is basically go through some of the things we have responded to the council's concern, as the ADA council up in NDOT. Her concerns sent that to Pat as well, and Pat hasn't pushed the red button yet, so I think we're doing okay. Basically, we gave them just basically where we are, fact that we need more resources to conduct the ADA survey. We're gonna do a survey as well as what we need and how we're gonna address it and what we're going to do going forward. So what I've done is I've contacted a couple folks regarding assisting us in doing that. One's an outside counsel, I believe the name is HWC. And if you guys are aware, we've got our transition plan, our Title VI plan on the website. So both of those are there, as well as Josh as the contact for any issues regarding that. But I also been doing a little research, and here's a couple of this is a transition plan and Title VI plan from a couple of different municipalities and states regarding what they do. And basically, if you I just put the table of contents in there because the gives you the topics they covered. And there's 60 to 90 pages some of them. So I mean it's pretty in-depth and it's something that, quite frankly, the consultants have contacted say basically they're going to do surveys of all of our buildings for ADA compliance, do measurements, do the angles of the ramps, do the steps and so on and so forth. So that's what I'm looking for. I've gotten talked to a gentleman who can do that work for us, and he's done work in the area. In fact, he lives in Madison. And he can do it for a maximum of $10,000 and not to exceed 10,000. He's gonna bill us hourly. And if it gets to 10,000, we're done. Basically, he'll keep doing the work, but he's going to continue the process. So what I would like tonight is your agreement to do that, and to take Josh off as the ADA coordinator and put me on, because Josh has got way too much to do. We've got about a dozen more court cases we're gonna have this year on nuisances. And we've got about 4 sitting right now, and he's cleaning up quite a bit of property in the area. Plus, we've got a lot of building going on. So I would like to take that load off his shoulders, put it on mine for the time being. And then we can make a decision once we get past this particular situation. We're gonna address this in the future. I don't know how that sounds to you guys, but it probably takes a motion to change this.
Do you think it would be worthwhile? I mean, like you had mentioned last time, it's always changing. Should we get, there were some funds there for part-time work to get a contractor that's their job. They're gonna look at as ADA. I mean, you sound like you've got someone who's gonna do it now, but
Right,
I mean, each year, because whatever it is this year, more than likely, there's gonna be changes next year.
right. We spent 14,000 last year just
Just
doing
The,
the updates,
Updates,
and that didn't, and quite frankly, we got the labor through Josh. Josh did all the updates, so, I mean, that's.
I mean, we're still gonna have to probably do that, but with
Sure.
someone whose job is to kind of come in and do a
Right,
review and say, okay, these are the things you need to do to stay compliant, other than having you yourself or Josh or someone.
and I anticipate that we're gonna have probably, if we spent almost 14,000 last year, once we do the survey and update, there's gonna be things we didn't know we were supposed to do that we need to do.
Sure.
So I would like to, make you guys aware. I'm probably gonna blow the budget out there. I think we got 15,000 for this year, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I mean, I think,
Sure.
the Cume courthouse, I mean, as far as doing projects to update things, I think there'd be some funding there that we might be able to use rather than using all the, I was thinking that amount for a contractor or consultant to help us
Sure.
stay on top of ADA issues. Cause I mean, it's not something, I mean, it takes a lot of time, but
Mm-hmm.
if a guy knows that's what he does for his living, he can come in and do these surveys, and as part of his contract, he's gonna do it annually. I would think that would be enough. Hopefully it's not, have to do it twice a year,
Well,
but
no, it's annual.
so, I mean, he could do it annually
Sure.
and just identify, give us a report on things that we need to fix, and then we go and use other money that we have to
Mhm.
take care of that.
I got a reference from Bobby on the gentleman I'm talking to too, so he's.
Sure.
He's with them with HWC and.
Sure, I think
Engineering.
what's his name?
That was Kevin. I don't know if you've met Kevin. I
Kevin.
only met him once, but Katie Adams used to be up at NDOT. That was her primary role, was over the ADA and Title VI.
And they've met with NDOT several times on what they want and what they need. And based on what I'm reading from, and I read those two plans, and they're quite detailed and quite intensive. And I think we should do it. I mean, I'm not saying we can't,
Right,
we shouldn't do it. I
right,
think we need
but-
to do it.
And maybe that first year with
Yeah.
the consultant, although we have one, but maybe so just taking that and updating, and making it. So I mean. Should we, I guess, the next thing is, should we put together a request for proposal to go out to others? You okay with this one guy? I guess
I think with timing on this, I think we need to. I
just
think
do this, but then
do this
maybe in
one
the
and then-
future,
And then we'll look at, do we want to do it in-house, or we would like, or if there's somebody in town that can do it, that
Yeah, but
has
that-
that experience, it'd be great. If not, let's look.
well, I
at
mean,
it.
I think with an RFP, they can obviously apply, but I think
Sure.
rather than you trying to stay up to date on all the changes in ADA, this is their job. That's what they always do. So,
Well, I'm gonna be using him a lot.
well, yeah, I understand, and I would, that
Sure.
makes sense, but.
Sure.
And this stuff changes monthly.
Right.
Yeah.
But hopefully they don't ding you monthly, but they'll say, okay, next year,
Well, the other thing in that email is that the community crossings grants are also tied to this. So I think
Community
it's-
crossings, then federal
Jeopardy
funding,
could be in
all that
jeopardy.
stuff's tied to it. It has to be a full-time employee that's tied to that. You can use their consultant for reference. They
So,
could report to him, but it would have to be a full-time employee's name on that.
So, I mean, but we could have a consultant do it, but it would just
yeah,
have him
my
as
name would
the.
be the point of contact. So what I would ask is we upgrade the website. I've got on the website and looked at a number of things. One thing, we can report a traffic concern, we report an issue, but we can't report an ADA issue. So I think we need to update the automated and also change mine. If you guys approve me, change me to the.
I think it's not one of us three, so we're gonna like, yeah, go
I've been
ahead.
there. I don't want it again.
Well, I tell you, I had some ADA concerns in my family, so. I'll be
Well,
there.
So let's, I mean, I think what you've said for this year sounds good to go on, and then let's look
Okay.
at, but I've got to believe there's other people who have had to put together requests for proposals for ADA services, so.
Yep.
Finding that,
We'll get that.
make it Jefferson can, well.
I guess my question to you all is, can I sign a contract once he gets it to me and go with it? Is that acceptable, or do I have to bring it to you?
It's coming out of your budget, right?
Comes out of my budget.
I mean, I would make sure Pat
But it's
looks at
within
it.
the Coon Courthouse budget. It's not in his department budget. It's
Oh,
a
it's not.
line item within Coon Courthouse.
So part-time help.
Well, that was, I thought, when it said we had 15 in the,
The part-time help for,
that's 25. isn't it? I think we had
Yeah.
25 in part-time, but I thought we had,
so out of the part-time, it would be fine
okay,
for you to sign. But I would still bring
I
it.
thought,
I think we had 25 in there,
okay.
so. I'll go ahead and do that, and then,
Okay.
yeah, we can get it moving.
Yeah, I'd let Pat look at it, just to.
So definitely let Pat, whenever, my rule is, whenever we get a letter from a lawyer, we need to respond.
Let another lawyer look at it.
Because I can't think we've got any horrific deficiency.
I don't believe we do either.
Just
They
because
reporting.
we put doors on the prosecutor's office
Mhm.
and a button. Same way on the courthouse and the gates and
To let you guys know, I sent pictures of everything we've done. In fact, that was my tour this week. I did a tour of the facilities and took pictures of everything. The one thing I see that we need to fix is, unfortunately, the severe winter we had, we did have some striping that came up and it needs to be replaced. So we've got to do that.
Those guys cleaning the.
And Mr. Phillips is gonna help me with that. We're gonna figure out who we need to get to do that. Because I think that one cold weekend really zapped the stuff we were using, and it's unfortunate, so. From that standpoint.
some of it was on asphalt, which is hard to get any adhesion or string.
Well, we had an issue with this building too, because
Exactly.
the plates wouldn't come in. Josh came up and
He did it, yeah.
he drilled them down to this, I
Yep.
think, center of the core of the earth, I think. So
Yeah, I think it's 8 foot long to try and hold it down. Yeah.
But if you guys,
When we left the meeting that day.
so if you guys would make a motion to make me the, I guess that's gotta be noted, I would assume.
So. I move that we make the ADA coordinator Mike, county surveyor Mike Pittman rather than the. Building inspector Josh. Fine.
I second that.
Okay, all those in favor signify by aye. So moved.
Thank you.
Can I bring up a couple other things?
Sure.
Since I'm here. We have just, the Indiana is working on, in fact, is still in the state legislature. That is what the old flood maps look like. What you see there in green is the FEMA flood maps for a flood zone around, this is around Brooksburg. Indiana's gone out and done a more in-depth study, more detailed study on the flood zones. That's kind of the same area, but you can see the colors are a lot different. And you can see that it's about the same because FEMA studied that same area. I'd like to show you Brushy Fork now. Those of you who've been out to Brushy Fork know that's the FEMA map. You can see it doesn't highlight a flood zone there on Brushy Fork. This is the new DNR map, which did study Brushy Fork and shows you the detail on that. So, to me, and we're gonna be doing a workshop in May 31st. There in the fairgrounds at the community center to talk about this and a number of other subjects about flooding and that type of thing, May 31st. So if you would put your calendars, love to have you guys there, and anyone else in the public that would want to be there, because I think it's a very important topic for, especially for our county, with the Ohio River on one side and hills and creeks on the other side. So it will be, we haven't set the time yet. We're still in the planning phase. I hope to get the Corps of Engineers, DNR from Indiana, and IDEM as well there, because they all have a dog in the hunt here. The other thing is, there is a reduced flood risk interactive website that DNR's put up. And it's at floodrisk.org. You can get to that. It's for the public, and it tells them what they can do just around their homes, around their areas, to help reduce the risk of floods. So it's a nice, and again, a lot of this stuff, of course, costs money, but it's reduceflood.org. Reduceflood.org is what it is. And the last thing, my favorite subject is trash. You guys know that. Nuisances. In our recycle center has this wonderful little paper that comes out. We've got a spring issue that's coming out soon. But there will be a difficult disposal days are planned for 2023. The first one's coming up in May. And it's for tires. You can drop off 4 tires free at the recycle center there in JPG. So, and the spring edition of this, there's not too many floating around. I don't know why, but they don't get a lot of them out. But this has got a lot of good information in it. Hazardous waste materials is also in here, and you can drop those out all year long at the recycle center there in JPG. So, yes, sir.
Well, the materials recycle. Liquid.
If it's
That's a loaded question. now.
household, yeah, you'd have to call them. You can call them and ask them, tell
Well,
them.
I've been out there and they wouldn't take it.
Well, they probably won't take it. So,
4 tires max,
4 tires for free. You can bring as many as you want,
yeah,
but you're gonna pay for it.
6 or 8 bucks a piece, yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of liquids are there?
I don't know. When I bought the property 20 years ago, it was sitting in a big can and it's still in a big can. I have no idea what's it. It's liquid. Don't know what it is, where it came from. Or anything else about it. Except I know they won't take it. And it's still sitting in the bar, by the way.
You might call Hanover and see if you can get some of the kids in chemistry to come out. and see what it is.
Hey, let's go play again.
Let's go see what this is. And
I feel real bad if there's so much water out there.
I'll
We
check, give me your name and I'll check around so I can find out.
Okay,
Well-
Richard Carter.
Richard Carter.
Yeah, at 812.
You have my email address, don't you?
Yes.
So send me an email and I'll come out and look at it and I'll see what.
That's right, you work for a chemical.
Yeah, I know. So we'll see what we can do.
Okay,
And
will do.
I mean, we may do a few unsafe things, but we won't tell anybody what we're gonna do. We may smell it, that smelling it may tell us.
I think I got your number. Better give it to me again.
You can say that over
Here, I'll give you a card.
Okay,
You almost got it.
Almost got it, didn't it?
that'll work.
That's all right.
Any questions for me, guys?
No, appreciate it.
That'll work. Thank
And
you.
I will say that I know a place Josh stopped in for out in our area, heavy trash, and they're cleaning it up.
He's got a wonderful way of getting people to do it in a confrontational method.
Right, and we've got one guy that's unfortunately is the kind of the guinea pig getting through the court cases and what's happening. And last time, normally, we might get someone to show up at a planning commission meeting, but last time we had 4 people show up at a planning commission meeting, so word's getting out there. And we figured that would happen.
And the most interesting nuisance claim I've had was a portable water container chained to a guardrail on Highway 56. I thought it better get out of it right away. I mean, it was interesting. We got it removed. It was not a big deal. It was done in one day, but no, it's a busy task because we actually survey the county probably once or twice a month, do a complete survey of the county with the nuisance cases and look at what's out there and what's been cleaned up, what hasn't. And then we make a priority list. So Josh has got a good handle on what's going on. He's working with those folks. And in the spare time, he does building inspection, but no, it's, and spring's not even here yet.
Yeah.
So, but we appreciate what everybody's doing in the county to help keep our county looking beautiful and safe. Big thing is safe. We want to make sure everybody's safe out there. And when you've got a lot of abandoned cars and things and structures around home, it really can be a mess. So we want to help everybody be safe out there. Okay. Thank you, folks. Appreciate it.
Heather, it is your turn, dear.
Jason.
Okay, so the first thing I want to go over is an agreement to provide professional services for Dossett Consulting LLC. They claim our indirect cost of child support. It's a service, we actually, even their fee is reimbursed to us at 66%. So I just finished the 21 plan with them. It runs a couple years lag. And we're receiving $18,000 back on that reimbursement, and their fee is $5,000 a year. So it definitely pays for itself. We do have the option to select a multi-year for 3 years or a 1-year contract. The price has went up $500 a year if we go for the 1 year. But if we go for the 3-year contract, it remains the $5,000 a year, which would be my recommendation. They also provide services to the clerk, prosecutor, and the courts, claiming their 4D expenses. So I think it works great, everyone being with the same consultant, and we just send one set of emails out with all the information, and he's able to go through everything. But we just need to re-up that.
Imagine that you put that in the budget, so.
Yes, we budget that every year in county general, and then that reimbursement actually comes back to county general. So it is a very good service.
We're already using them.
Yes, we've been using them. We used another consultant from before that, but I think we've been with we've been with Dossett for at least 3, maybe 4 years.
I move we accept the agreement for professional services with Dossett Consulting for the 3-year term of $15,000. So $5,000 per year through 2026.
Yeah.
Through 2026.
I second.
Okay, have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Okay, the second thing I have is across the state of Indiana, they are switching all child support fees to a new software platform, which is requiring the clerk's office to do some reconciling on items that have maybe been unreconciled for years, and because there has not been a policy to reconcile these items. This also is a problem that's going across the state from what Tabitha informed me. Basically, State Board of Accounts sent out a template of the policy and said you need to have this in place to make your corrections. So I prepared this with all of our information in that, and Pat looked this over. And I'll also be presenting it to the council so that they can make these changes, and then I believe they go live June, so they have to make them pretty quickly.
So It says write-off differences will be presented to the county council and reconciled using unappropriated county general funds. So does that mean that we will, if we don't collect some of these, we'll have to pay for some of these?
Yes, so what the problem is there are some
There's a problem.
unreconcilable amounts that total
They just make
just
us pay
less
for
than $3,000 that most. I think Tabitha told me most, if not all of these errors are issues from pre-2000 that have been on the books this long, and then now we're switching systems, so they're having to write them off. They've never had a policy to be able to write them off. And at this point,
So they write them off and we pay for it, pretty much.
for a one-time write-off, and now,
State policy doesn't.
and now they will have a correct policy on how to handle these differences. Is the
Is it
idea.
gonna be the same, way we're gonna pay for them in the future too, or?
Hopefully everything is covered by having them pay back these fees at the time. But like Tabitha was explaining to me, some of the children that this might be associated with, some of the kids are 30 and 40 years old at this point, and their parents may not even be living here or living to
Living.
recoup $40
Yeah,
here.
that would be the thing. What determines they're uncollectible? They
So.
could be incarcerated or deceased or.
Right, so now, once this one catch up happens, then they'll be able to identify that problem a little sooner so that they could hopefully recoup it appropriately.
Every county's done this.
Yes, every county is going through this. Some already had policies, but there are a lot of county clerks that are scurrying, trying to get this done before June.
Like you said, screaming, but you said scurrying.
Scurrying around.
We need to get this done, okay. We heard from other counties, or they just fall in line, or?
Yeah. Yeah, the actual form actually comes with just blanks for you to actually write in. Jefferson County.
You need to vote on this.
Well, I'm sure we do.
Yeah.
Do we? I don't know that we have any
I
choice,
know.
but
Well, I make a motion, we accept this policy that Heather's brought to us here. It's like we're gonna need to do it.
I second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by aye. Aye. Reluctantly, reluctantly. Okay, motion passes.
Thank you.
You're in charge of it.
I was just presenting.
Don't kill the messenger.
Right, that is everything I think I
You
have.
got?
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Phillips, you have the floor, sir.
I got a few updates. I'll start with the one I'm not sure that I am anticipating that one the most, but it's up there pretty high. Here on March the 7th, there'll be a bid advertising going out for community crossings for the paving projects that'll be going out. I won't have a local bid that I've been usually doing side by side and simultaneously with that, but I will be doing the structure and the road realignment as well as the paving back on Brushy Fork down there at the intersection of Tate Ridge. So we will open both of those bids on March the 22nd. That'll be at the Highway Department at 9 o'clock, and that'll be updated again here at the next meeting as well. We did have our pre-construction meeting today on 325 East. That was the structure that we bid last fall to be started, and for that to be replaced, that work will actually, we plan to start that next week. So he's gonna be reaching out to Peyton, getting road closed signs put up. We'll be putting out the advertisement notices to everybody that will be closed for a little while, and hopefully that'll be a fairly speedy project. It won't be a really drawn out one. I was trying to coordinate with them and let them know, because I knew NDOT was gonna have several projects around the Canaan area, and that was one of the roads that was on their unofficial detour. And if 250 or 62 is being worked on between their job site, that was gonna add time and dollars to their figures. So they thought that'd be a pretty good idea to knock that one out too. I did get notified. You guys know I've been working on trying to get dump trucks for the highway department for quite some time. I did finally get notified. I have 2 that are in the build slots. It's probably gonna be late fall before they get here, but definitely looking forward to getting that, and we'll have a couple other dump trucks that we'll be able to liquidate at that point. That's haven't been used as much because they're not quite as roadworthy, and they're really just used for emergencies more than anything.
Bobby, can I interrupt you for just a second?
Yes.
How much longer do you guys think you're gonna be? The guys here to mist our building for, the germs and stuff.
I can be done right now.
Most of that germs.
Right, because he's coming from out of town and stuff, and I just need to know about how much longer you think you'll be.
You thought I was joking, but I was very serious.
My stuff can wait.
I might need a couple of minutes.
It'll be a little bit.
At least 20 minutes, half hour. probably.
Half hour, 30 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, because the last thing that I had was we've just been dealing with potholes and down trees, and that slowed us up in the culvert installation and keeping those going and ditching. And February was wonderful because there was multiple days. I said, guys, it's over 40 degrees. We need to be patching. And I don't always get to say that in February, so that was good. There have been some down signs and some signs that get stolen that are very important that we keep those in place, especially stop signs, but even our road name signs that sometimes disappear. It's very important for people to navigate. So we've been getting those replaced as well. And that's all I have, Jim, unless you have something for me. I did reply to your email also, Dave.
Yep,
Got that.
saw that.
One more.
Oh, gotcha. That's for my notes. Gotcha. Anything else? All right, see,
Thanks,
I
Bobby.
was almost done anyway. That's why I can quit now.
Troy's not out there, is he?
Troy's
MC,
not
Troy?
there.
Okay. He had school this week.
Yeah.
Trish?
I just, I had somebody come out and look at the backyard and they kind of gave me a quote that they can get it fixed.
Look at the backyard.
Yeah, well,
I
where the
know.
cemetery is. back
The
there where it's
runaround?
flooded, yeah. He's saying he could get it done for between $1,200 and $1,500.
Is it?
Okay.
Eric,
Eric, yeah,
I got his email. I got your,
Yeah.
we're gonna talk about it in
so,
executive.
so just whenever, if y'all give me the thumbs up or the down, and he's got all the info on it.
Okay, okay.
Looking good over there, though. You're doing good. You're doing good. Thank
Yep.
you.
Mr. Carter. You have the floor, sir.
To fix the backyard.
That's all right.
Shut the front door.
It is now after all the digging they have.
Well, I got 2 things. One is, I'm gonna let you get off the hook after 3 or 4 years here. They're asking for a Second Amendment Preservation Act. The reason for that, I want to change it, and I'd like to have a resolution from you tonight to go to the governor and your state reps to expedite House Bill number 1117, which I gave you a copy of, because that basically covers all the groundwork we need done. It's basically just about what looks much like the Missouri copy I gave you, which is the gold standard. So with a little push to the governor and people in Indianapolis to get this bill through, would take care of what I'm trying to get done here locally at Jefferson County. And it looks pretty good, as I say, it's pretty close to the Missouri, which is the gold standard. And the other thing is, read in the Courier about Mr. Raymer's press release on Saturday, February the 4th. Got you under the gun now. I hope that some of it was milk quotes, but you know how it goes. On dated Saturday, the 4th of February, You said you were having a Health and Human Relations Commission established.
Mhm.
And I agree, and always have, but we needed the Health Commission, which we discussed tonight, that looked like pretty thoroughly. But the Human Relations Commission, I have a real problem with. For a couple of reasons. Well, I'll ask you a question here. You said encouraging diversity. What did you mean by your statement, encouraging diversity? What kind of diversity?
Well, there are a lot of people out there that want us to be more diverse. We're only gonna be as diverse as we are. So my premise is, let's treat people like people. If other people decide to come to Jefferson County, great. If they don't, it's still gonna be a nicer place to live. So,
Okay.
I mean,
because
people all around wanna change the demographics of people, but it's only gonna be what it is, right? I mean, you
okay,
can't,
well, I know.
I know,
that
I
word
know,
Diversity got me a little bit.
I understand. I work for a company that wants to be very diverse and
And the other thing you had in there was,
okay.
you're going to encourage to have them change their integrity. And a person's integrity, is that
All right,
their
so you,
integrity?
I mean, this has been a month ago, and you're pulling 3 words out of something I said, so.
Well, on
you're-
February 4th, yes.
Well,
but
it's been a month
I'm
ago,
there
and I said it probably 2 days prior, so do you wanna give me a little more? Before I start, I guess I could go and look up the article and see
Oh,
what,
I got the article. I'll give you.
give me a little help in what the context was.
And that was it, and because integrity and the word respect is earned. You can't tell somebody to respect somebody. Now, I do have a copy of the article for you because I
Well,
read
once again,
one
we-
paragraph, and it didn't make any sense to me at all.
We are gonna try to help people and treat people like people. That's the whole
That
purpose.
little quote was in there, but I have a quote. One of my favorites from a long time ago. From Ronald Reagan. Make sure I get this in the minutes.
It's gonna be
Government
recorded.
is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem. Remember his statement when he said that?
Sure, I'm from the government. I'm here to help. We always laugh at that. But
But that
this,
was it. And that one paragraph that they had in there just, I read it several times and then I gave it to my wife and she read it and she said they put grammar, but that was about her oldest statement on it.
okay, I'm an engineer. I was not an English major.
Oh, you were an engineer?
I am an engineer.
The engineers gave me a lifetime job
Good.
because I had to interpret what they were trying to say.
There we go. And you doing it now.
Okay. Anybody else have anything? from the public? Mr. Lee?
Well, Michael pretty much took care of it a while ago. Real good job. March 23rd, we're having our kind of a refresher meeting over here. Michael again will be in charge of that. Little more information maybe than we got tonight, but I think he pretty much hit all of it. And I think that's it.
Tuesday of next week is the public meeting for the Unified Development Ordinance.
7th.
Yeah, at Ivy Tech. So we just kind of want to, the planning commission has looked at it, they're okay with it, they're gonna give the public a chance to make their comments, make any changes, and then once that gets completed, then it'll come to the commissioners for final approval. Still moving forward with the stormwater management ordinance, we should get a little draft. I just got a draft schedule, I can send that out to folks, we're gonna talk about some things just to solidify it and get that moving, and hopefully sometime April, I think, is when the draft ordinance would be available for people to start looking at. So I'm moving forward, that she's been sick for a little bit and things have been pretty busy, so kind of been going slow, but that's fine. We'll get there. And the zoning, the unified development ordinance will have just a reference to the stormwater management ordinance, so it's not had any issue. Calling any delays there, so, but it'll be referenced.
Okay.
So,
Had our usual every other Thursday jail meeting this morning. It's moving along very nicely. All the concrete being poured, sidewalks, curbs and what have you, painting inside, gas is on, water's on, so moving in the right direction. I just have one question for you.
Yes, sir.
After you get to June and you come back with your data and you've got your plan, is building strictly brand new, or do you ever look at rehab or
I
whatever?
think that will be, options on the table. As to what the best, most feasible, economical way to address, the results of the needs study.
Yeah, I was just curious if they were locked into new construction or if something there is available could be.
I think that's sort of been, one of the hopes out there.
Okay.
But I still think there's room for, different modes of having a facility.
Cross that bridge in June, right?
Right.
Thank you. That's all I can think of.
I'll make a motion with adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor signify by aye.
Maybe I get out of here.